Hi, you guys. Okay, it's about 1:28 on a Sunday afternoon, and starting the first week of May, which starts small, believe it or not. Where has April gone? I would like to know. Someone answer me that, and then my life would be all set if I could figure out April. But we do have a pretty interesting month in May as far as a podcast. Also, I have my boss coming on my podcast as of Tuesday. So yes, I have my boss from my teaching job coming on my podcast. So it's going to be a pretty interesting podcast. Not only is he going to talk about the philosophies of Aspen Country Day, but he's going to talk about, from his perspective, about teaching diversity, i.e. CP. Having a teacher with CP, then he's going to ask me two to three questions at the end. And I don't know what he's going to ask me, because I don't know whether it's going to be about education. I don't know whether it's going to be about podcasting. Probably be about education, but I don't know. So that should be a very interesting podcast, and I'm excited just because now with him and for the rest of my podcasting career, which by the way I've got accepted into journalism. Yes, I posted it on my Instagram. Yes, I've told people that I was applying, but now I just have to work out the details. But my life journey is going to start in the fall. So I'm going to be educating myself outside my original field, which is education. So that is going to be a very interesting podcast. And so make sure you tune in Wednesday morning for Josh Warman. And yep, now I will feel free about talking about education in a polite way. I mean, I'm not going to do it meanly, but I'm certainly not going to hide what's going on in education. I mean, this person worked at Sidwell Friends. For those of you who don't know what Sidwell Friends is, it's a private school in Washington, D.C., and that's where Sasha and Maria Obama went. So my boss, before he came to Country Day, worked with essentially one of the highest parents in the country, President Obama. So this guy is no living under a rock, no dummy, no living under a rock. Because when you're dealing with a high-profile parent like that, one false move, you could get screwed. And so that's why I'm so careful as to what I talk about publicly in education. But I feel freer now that believe it or not, now that my boss is coming on the podcast. So that is that. And so I want you guys to tune in to Wednesday morning. I have an episode coming out with Eric Patrick Thomas on small, and then I have an episode coming out with Christina, who went to live in the Vales, and we talk about marriage as a whole after the wedding day, and it all fascinated me. I did something selfish in that episode because I was curious as to her answer to that question, but you guys will find out what the question was and what the answer was. So again, you can tune in to Butterflies of Wisdom, and then Tuesday, I believe, Mel and I are going to be doing the Wisdom of Fashion, which Mel and I are going to be doing a solo episode together. Oh, and I have another podcast called All Fractured Minds, which talks about mental illness with Jeffrey Reno. So that is a slow and steady process there. And yeah, I wasn't able to help on that one last week because I had 2 chaotic weeks back to back. So this week will be a nice, slow week, and I just have a full week, but every time I get the time off from work, everyone sends on me, including my boss. So hopefully my boss will say we'll give you a tech job in technology, but if not, I'm perfectly fine teaching third grade music. And yes, I'll hand my boss his link so he can do whatever he wishes with it, maybe post it on the ACDS Facebook page. And no, the country days all across the country aren't related to my country day, Aspen Country Day. We may have the same philosophies, which are the power of 3, academics, the arts, and outdoors, but we use those 3 philosophies in totally different ways. So I just wanted to give you guys a heads up. Like if you see a country day out in Marin County, California, and the reason why I mentioned that one is because where I'm going is the Academy of Arts in San Francisco. So nothing has to do with the country day out here. So country days are not connected. So tune into that one, share this podcast, Oh, and help me by buying my books, you guys, and that will help support textbooks, believe it or not, textbooks for my college. So help me. So I know I mentioned that last week, but still help me. And so we'll see if that is working out. I will mention that on Tuesday with my boss, when my boss comes on the podcast, because every so often my boss asks me about education, just because he's invested in his students and apparently invested in his teachers. So you guys will get a taste of my other life, which my other life is only one day a week. So I am a podcaster that plays teacher on the side, and I will fully admit that with my boss. I mean, there's no hiding anything with my boss anymore. I mean, I've spoken, even though we have a boss in play relationship, my boss pretty much knows everything about me because of my disability and because I'm fairly open about it and because I just feel like I should be. So I'll admit on the podcast that I am a full-time podcaster who plays teacher on the side, but talking to him about the three philosophies of Country Day and diversity, and teaching the kids about diversity, and his questions of me publicly should be interesting. And no, you would think I would be nervous interviewing my boss. No, because my boss is my boss, and I happen to have a deep respect for this guy. I mean, as I said earlier, before he came out here, he actually worked for Sidwell Friends, so that me knowing that gave me a deeper respect for Josh Woolman, and the fact that during my employment changes, the fact that the changeover happened where I was friendly with my boss. I mean, friendly with my boss's wife, which didn't help the cause. I got that job in 2010. John retired in 2013, and I was friendly with my boss and friendly with my boss's wife since 1998-99, which that didn't help. So now I have a relationship where I can still go tell my boss anything about me, but yet it's he's the boss, I'm the employee, which I like. So that's that, and that's how he likes it. I mean, he knows the kids by name, and yeah. And so Tuesday should be interesting. Bye, you guys.